it said that God created humans out of clay, and then he breathed life into them. Yeah, I'm contented when I do this here. I was tending in the penitentiary, quiet as a cat, when the art room was open. I still wanted my freedom, but I was content. And I got a good habit of doing it. Now I'm out here, and I got the chance to start making this stuff again. If they really want somebody to have a rehabilitation, they'll let them do art, you know, but they ain't about that, man.
Arkee's sentence was commuted, which means that the governor modified his sentence from life without parole to time served. Arkee is one of roughly 80 people who we represent at the Illinois Prison Project who are serving life sentences, like natural life, no way out, for armed robbery.
77 and 81. We have a really strong ethic here about using our skills to make a difference in the world, and Arkee's case is one where we were able to do that.
The system is kind of set up to hide people like Arkee away. So working with Wendy to come up with how we could show people his humanity and his talent and get past the label that so many people reflexively turn to, which is, you know, like criminal, felon, which it covers such a small part of his life, but it's dominated so much of it.
All right. Is that Bill? No, that ain't Bill. All right.
What's happening, my man? We'll go
I'm
through
glad
We'll
to get
go
out of
there.
here, man.
Huh?
I'm glad to get out of there.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
I knew you long. I knew you were.
Yeah, I got it.
And I've known Arkee for 15 years. He sent a cartoon.
I met Bill by the State Bill Speak.
State Bill Speaks started in 2000, I think.
I started sending him some of my cartoons. And as things went by, I got to know him and then started writing him and whatnot. You know, and you're a good dude.
Oh, I think Arkee and I will get along absolutely good. The only issue is I don't know how good either of us cook. So
Somebody told me that I'm 78 years old. Well, I don't feel like I'm 78 years old, and I don't know how 78 years old is supposed to feel. I'm doing whatever I have to do, whatever it is, you know. My father's name was Mabel. He was a preacher, a Baptist preacher. I was a junior. Every week I had a fight with somebody saying, Mabel, Mabel, set the table, don't forget your red hot peas. So I started playing hooky from school. And I hooked up with some young thugs, and the first thing I ever stole in my life, an apple. And the apple tasted better than any apple I ever tasted. And the reason being, I guess, is because the chance that I was taking. So I got in trouble at a young age, and it became a habit. See, my mother was doing what she thought was best to stop me from being a crook. And all it did just made me try to be slicker, try not to get caught. You could lie so much until you begin to believe your own lies. I was about 7 years old. What I did to learn, I got some lard, and then I used it for tracing paper, lay it down over Popeye to sell a man or something like that, and start drawing. And after about 3 or 4 months, I was able to draw. You know, I don't draw the same all the time. It depends on what I'm drawing. If I'm drawing something, then it's changed around. It ain't never the same. Except the only thing that I got that it's always the same when I do it is smoke. Yeah, he's the main dude. He's the first one I made in the joint. It was in the 60s, early 60s. I must have been about 18 years old. He described himself with this old big nose, and he always smiling. Yeah, that's my alter ego. And then I get him to speak for me, because if I say something, ain't nobody gonna listen. But if Smoke say something, somebody gonna listen. Some of our dudes laugh, and some of them say, man, you hit the nail on the head, man, you know.
But whites are so hypocritical. They don't want to admit that this black man is not a citizen.
Malcolm, the one got me involved in Islam. Malcolm X. I was downstairs looking at the TV. Anything that came out of Malcolm's mouth was the Bible to me.
They put Moses in jail. They put Daniel in jail.
You ain't gotta be a genius or nothing to understand what he was saying. You know, it's just plain as day.
And oppression.
Our brother kept calling me every time he saw me, hey, Brother Arkee. I kept on calling me Arkee, and then one day I asked him, I said, hey, man, why you keep calling me Arkee? That ain't my name. He said, well, it means in Arabic, it means my brother. I said, yeah, so I changed my name. I liked the Army. I had been getting in a lot of trouble before I went in, so I knew how to deal with discipline. It was in Augusta, Georgia. I got charged with receiving stolen goods, a radio. They gave me 10 years. It was rough. And a lot of dudes couldn't make it in Reedsville. That's the name of the joint that I was in, Reedsville and Tobacco Road. I used to box. I was 55 pounds. I was a middleweight. And I must have lost about 8 fights. But I won way more than I lost. Yeah, I had a trainer named Tit. He wouldn't train nobody but me because I was serious. Anything I do, I usually be serious about it. Let's go, Heath. That was 73. I thought, well, maybe I could get me a job doing cartoons on the Chicago Defender. Went there and showed some of my work on the cartoons, and they said, we got an in-house cartoonist, so we don't need one. But if you want to holler at him, you could see what he could give you some tips. So I went back and I started a conversation with him. And he told me, he said, if you're gonna do some cartoons, he said, the first thing you need is these felt tip pens. And so this is one of the first things I bought when I got out. I got about 300 in there. Okay. You got a natural life in prison. It's a death sentence. We are running out of room. Got all these dudes dying. It said John Jackson just got out of prison after serving 50 years. He have no one to turn to. All of his family members has passed on. He turned to the unemployment office to get a job. The guy said, sorry, but you're too old and you've been in prison. He said he needed a place to lay his head, so he slept beneath a viaduct. They say John Jackson died from pneumonia. I got lucky. Dudes get out and they ain't got nowhere to turn, you know? And so all that's gonna do is just lead right back to some more crime.
So, you haven't used a cell phone before?
Never.
Okay. So, here's what it looks like when you first see it. You see that phone button? Push the phone button. Oh, something happened there. Okay, try it again. Oh. Okay, what's next?
Using your touch-tone keypad, please enter in the numeric portion of your IDOC number.
871.
Where is your IDOC number? There it is.
871
Using your
362.
touch-tone keypad, please re-enter only the numeric
Okay,
portion
so
of
enter
your
it.
IDOC.
Thank you for calling the monitoring center. Please hold for the next available specialist. All specialists are currently unavailable. Please try your call again in 30 minutes.
In 30 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Only thing I do is I try to tell the truth. It don't have to be the total truth, but it have to have truth in it. And I try to fight the system. In the mess hall, they had a washroom and the toilet was overflowed. Nobody used the washroom but the guards. I did a cartoon on it. 2 weeks later, the plumbing was fixed because of the cartoon. So the cartoons had a lot of power behind them. Seen a lady by the name of Dr. Burroughs. You ever heard of her? She's the founder of the Deuce Museum. She got me off in the painting. I knew how to draw, but I didn't know how to paint. And she got me in the painting. She had a class in Stateville that she bring once a week. And she brought me a lot of paint. I told her I don't know how to do it. She said, don't say you can't do it, just do it. So to please her, I did it, but the work was really garbage. But she'll say something, oh, you made this real beautiful, you know? So she'll motivate people. So I got pretty good because I wanted to impress Dr. Burroughs. She was good people. It took me some time to learn how to do this. But once you learn how to do it, you fall in love with it. Okay. Okay. I let the paint take its own course. You know, do whatever it want to do. All I do is just move the brush. Need to be a little bit browner. Some look at it in a negative way, and some look at it in a different way about America putting too many in prison. You know, you got some people who don't go along with it. And you got some that go lock them all up. That's what they be saying. What I do with that blue. Any institution in Illinois, they got a light blue shirt. Well, I'll give them a different shirt. I'll give them this one. But ordinarily the shirt is blue. And I'm gonna leave this like they used to do back in the day. They had your number on your shirt. Some dudes just need to be locked up, like I needed to be locked up at the time, but not for a natural life. I had to be locked up the way I was in order to change everything. And then, like I said, I probably would have been dead long about now. I really believe that. You know, it's up to the individual. If the individual want to be rehabilitated, he's going to be rehabilitated. But the thing is, what he going to do when he be rehabilitated? A lot of dudes is rehabilitated in the joint right now, and they're just in the joint. They don't care about letting them out. If it hadn't been for the governor, if it hadn't been for Jennifer, if it hadn't been for them people, I wouldn't be sitting there right now talking to you. But it was, they got me up out of here.